freedom, Black America. They erased names, rewrote history, divided families, poisoned communities, and sold lies as freedom, Black America. How many generations must disappear before we finally wake up?
They told us entertainment was enough. They told us surviving was winning.
Meanwhile, schools declined.
Community suffered, and another generation grew up disconnected from history. Black America,
wake up before they bury another generation.
teach the children truth before the system shapes them.
Learn the history they tried to erase from education. Build unity,
Build ownership,
build ownership.
build stronger foundations.
Black America,
Wake up,
before they bury.
another generation.
They took Africans from kingdoms and villages, packed them inside slave ships, chained them for months across the Atlantic Ocean. Millions died before even reaching American soil. Families were separated forever. Children were sold away from mothers. Men were beaten for reading books. Women were assaulted without justice. Slave owners built wealth from free labor, while black bodies were treated like property under American law. After slavery ended in 1865, freedom still did not arrive equally. Black Americans faced black codes, lynching, segregation, and Jim Crow laws. Schools were separated, neighborhoods were separated, hospitals were separated, voting rights were blocked through intimidation. Literacy tests and violence, entire black towns were burned to the ground, like Tulsa in 1921, where successful black businesses were destroyed by racist mobs. The government created redlining policies that denied black families home loans and wealth building opportunities. Highways were built through black neighborhoods. Factories left cities, and unemployment rose. Drugs flooded communities during the crack epidemic, while prisons expanded across America. Sentences for crack cocaine were far harsher than powder cocaine, even though both were forms of the same drug. Millions of black men disappeared into prisons, while families struggled without fathers and sons.
They told us entertainment was enough. They told us surviving was winning.
Meanwhile, schools declined.
Community suffered, and another generation grew up disconnected from history. Black America,
Wake up before they bury another generation.
teach the children truth before the system shapes them.
Learn the history they tried to erase from education. Build unity,
Build ownership,
build ownership.
build stronger foundations.
Black America,
Wake up before they bury another generation.
the civil rights movement brought change through sacrifice. People marched, protested, and died, demanding equal treatment under the law. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and many others spoke about education, economics, and self-respect. Yet decades later, many black communities still face underfunded schools, police violence, poverty, health disparities, and limited access to opportunity. Social media spreads distractions faster than knowledge. Music corporations profit from promoting violence, division, and destruction, while ownership stays in the hands of executives far away from the neighborhoods affected by the messages. Black consumers spend billions every year, yet much of that money leaves the community instead of circulating to create businesses, jobs, and property ownership. History is often shortened inside classrooms. Many students learn little about African civilizations, events, and scientists, or economic achievements. Some grow up believing slavery is the beginning of black history, instead of understanding the depth of African cultures before colonization. Without knowledge of history, many young people lose identity, direction, and confidence.
Communities cannot survive without fathers present, mothers supported, children educated, and neighbors united. Political promises alone
not save future generations. Real change requires discipline,
Financial literacy,
education,
land.
ownership, voting awareness, and community organization.
Wake up now,
Study the past now,
protect the youth now,
build the future now.
before another generation
Disappears into prisons.
poverty, violence, and hopelessness.
Every generation receives a warning. Every generation faces a choice. Remain divided and distracted, or rebuild families, knowledge.
And economic strength together.
Black America.
The future depends on what happens now.
History already showed the consequences of silence.
Division and ignorance.
The next generation is watching and waiting for leadership.
What's going on, Union Gang? We are back on it. Welcome to the Antifa War Room. I'm Rig, aka U.S. Army Overlord, and let's jump into it. I'm gonna jump in on a little earlier tonight, guys, because I gotta take off to watch Spider-Man later tonight. So we're gonna be, enjoying some of that, because you gotta enjoy your life a little bit, especially with all this bullshit going on. You gotta try to carve some type of normal life out for yourself. It doesn't take any type of body with half a working brain to see what's happening in the country, to see how far the fascists are going, and really seeing how it's being normalized, right, by the mainstream media, by a lot of journalists. They're still on that both sides shit, like there can ever be both sides to fascists in the White House and the Supreme Court being openly corrupted. They really just normalize all that type of shit. So we got to push back, and how we fight back, we're going to talk about that tonight, because we got to fight back at every level. There is no ignoring the political power in this country, because that's the key. Voting is your ultimate expression of political power, and you've got to be willing to vote for the world that you want to see, right? You got to vote for the change that you want to see in the world, and we got to fight for the change that we want to see. And I understand as disgusting as this system is, especially this two-party system, we really are seeing the limits of what's happening with that. But you still got to keep fighting, because anything else, you just go roll over and let the fascists win. So let's get into it. I think Don Lemon had posed a question, and I'm gonna dive right into it. Well, let's hear from him.
Okay, the co-chair of the Democratic Socialists of America went on Fox News and laid out a platform that includes abolishing the Senate, abolishing the presidency, abolishing the Supreme Court, and other sweeping changes to the American system of government. Now, the DSA is not the Democratic Party, but this is what I'm wondering, and other folks as well. Does the average voter know that? Because we've seen this before. I want you to think about defund the police. Remember that slogan? It was embraced by a relatively small group of activists, but it quickly became a Republican campaign message against Democrats all across the country, including many Democrats who never supported it. And here's the question. By putting these ideas on one of the country's biggest news platforms, are Democrats, or at least people, many voters associated with Democrats, handing Republicans a ready-made campaign ad for 2026 and 2028? Politics isn't just about what you believe. It's also about how voters perceive what they hear. What do you think?
Here's what I think. I think that defund the police wasn't far enough. The police, as we know it, should be abolished. I think Don Lemon is wrong on that. I think that he still suffers from a lot of the journalists. They still try to both sides this shit. You show me a police that's helped black people, I'll fucking wait. Show me a police organization that made black people's lives better. They never fucking have. And I can tell you, we got tons of shirts and people who have been murdered by the police, sexually assaulted by the police. Every damn uprising that we've had in American history is damn near because of the fucking police. The slave catchers who abuse their power, they have never been here for us. So it's been forever fuck the police. We do not need to be policed at this level. America has the highest incarceration rate in the world per capita. That is by design, because the 13th Amendment allows you to be a slave while you're in prison. That's why they criminalize the drugs, even though they let their own people do drug use. They try to criminalize as much shit as possible that affects poor people, because rich people know they're above that shit. So it's been forever fuck the police, first and foremost. If you take your eyes off the prize, people worried about the DSA. I don't give a fuck about the DSA. I got one question for the DSA. What are you going to do to help empower Black life? There's nothing wrong with them pushing the envelope. There's nothing wrong with them calling to abolish some shit. I think ICE should be absolutely abolished. I think that senators should be recalled, especially motherfuckers like Featherman, right? You should not have an automatic 6 year. You should not be safe as a political candidate. They should be subject to recall. And the entire system is corrupt. We'll understand why we're here. While they normalize this shit in 2028, you got people out here who are rigging the system in real time. They're openly committing crimes. Trump has stole fucking $10 billion. If that's not on every fucking airwaves, and now I'm talking about that shit that's happening, then miss me with the other bullshit. There is no comparison to the right-wing fascists that's in the country right now. There's nothing on the left that's comparable. Nothing. Not Antifa, not the Democratic Socialists of America. None of those things are even comparable. It's not even the same fucking universe. Fascists are at the door right now. ICE is killing people in broad daylight and becoming millionaires in the process. And people still think that you have to give them some training. And that's some dumb shit that Cory Booker said. They need better training. They need to be abolished. But let's have that conversation. Now, we know why the racists hate Fox News, or why the racists hate the DSA. That's a good thing. If Fox News hate the DSA, that's a reason for me to look more into the DSA if they're being hated by Fox News. If Buck Dancer's hating them, that's another good reason. Right, Bill Maher says that the Democratic Party is being colonized by socialists. If Bill Maher has a problem with the DSA, good for the DSA. Bill Maher is exactly the type of liberal that Malcolm X warned us about. He's been full of shit I haven't fucked with him in many years. Ever since he thought he was cool enough to say house nigga, I've never fucked with Bill Maher. I never thought him as funny. Typical white man colonized his way up to the top on some comedy shit, and now he thinks his opinion is worth fucking weight in gold. It's not. The fact that he's against the DSA means we need to be listening to what the DSA has to say. The fact that they're threatening the status quo is good. I'm here for that, because mediocre ass Democrats are not going to save us. Cory Booker cannot save us from fascism. Apac Shakur cannot save us from fascism. Chuck Schumer cannot save us from fascism. We need people who are willing to fight fire with fire and go as far as the right wingers went. They don't give a fuck about the rule of law. They don't care about any of that shit. All that shit is out the window. They are burning it down, burning the system down, doing a bunch of illegal shit, firing black women illegally, and everyone's just normalizing that shit. So hell yeah, let's mix it up. Let's mix it up a bit. I don't care what Bill Maher to say. This other guy here, vulnerable Democrat, wants the party to fight back against the growing socialist movement. Look, Tom Soisy, I don't give a fuck about him. Straight up. He's another dude with too much money in his pocket. New York has some incredibly corrupt politicians. And I'm going to show you a little bit more of that when we start talking about old Eric Adams, right? What is wannabe Democrat ass? He was always a Republican. He was always a pro-police Republican and corrupt to his core. And many of these fake ass Democrats, listen, if you're hanging out on Fox News and you being cozy with Fox News and you're not hostile, battling them and challenging their perceptions, you are part of the problem. Fox News is a racist ass propaganda station. That's it. There's nothing newsworthy about that shit. It is openly fucking propaganda. And if you don't call it out, you are part of the problem. Fox Fake News is the most racist television program in American history, bar none. They stay with Negroes in their mouth. They stay demonizing Hispanic people in the queer community. That is who they are, and that's what they do. And you can tell me misinformation all you want. Everything I say is backed up by facts. And I understand that TikTok algorithm is now controlled by right-wing billionaires. That's also part of the problem. But everything I said is facts. Facts over their feelings. The DSA has every right to be there. MAGA took over the Republican Party. Not even the same thing. Donald Trump pardoned thousands of criminals, and let them join ICE and let them join the federal government. Fire hard-working, qualified black women and put criminals in there. And think we're supposed to respect ICE as an organization. Think we're supposed to respect the FBI and these other institutions that they've let be straight taken over by the right wing. Come on. So they're talking about this viral video. I have not seen it, right? I've only seen it in parts. I'm gonna show you the parts I've seen tonight. But I have not seen nothing that's gonna make me squirm away from the DSA. Who cares if they want to come for the system? There's nothing wrong with that. Because the Republican Party has no credibility. And the fact that Van Jones is against it, that lets me know they're on the right track. Van Jones is a Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli supporting, ass-kissing buck dancer. He will never represent the black race. He sold out quite some time ago. So if he has a problem with the Democratic Socialists of America, good. That means they're shaking up the right trees. So I don't see the problem yet. I do not see the problem. But let's see what Fox Fake News got to say about it.
Abolish the Senate.
True.
Okay. Replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
I'm cool with all of that. I'm cool with it. So they've already abolished Congress when they conceded their power to a criminal president. So Fox News, like I said, they love to pull gotcha moments. This is why I came to find it. If you guys find the whole clip, let me see it, because I want to see the entire interview uninterrupted. They love to try to cook this shit up so they can try to spin it a certain way.
National co-chair Megan Romer, co-chair of the Democratic Socialists of America, had a viral moment in a Fox News interview on Sunday. She was asked about some of the organization's more controversial stances, and she affirmed each of them as being truly part of the platform. Here was the rest of that exchange.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally.
As a long-term plan, yep.
Defund the Pentagon.
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that.
I don't have a problem with that either. So the reason why we're always fighting wars is because we keep on funding the Pentagon. And what does the Pentagon do? The Pentagon has always failed audits anyway. So military spending should be at least cut in half. Who we fighting against? Nobody's coming over here to America. America is pushing imperialism on the rest of the world, and we made the world more unsafe. We got the world's greatest military, and what the fuck have we done? Lost wars for the last 50 years. Lost wars for the last 50 years. Right? We've been on that imperialism shit. And how has it worked out? How has it worked out? So it hasn't worked out. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, you know what? We got to change course. These wars are making rich people rich. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. So, leave. You know I'm live. That's what's happening right now. By having these people, in charge, what are you going to get? Why do you think we got a war with Iran? Because you keep on giving money to the military-industrial complex. And they have to justify that shit by continuing to be at war. And what good has it done in the last 20 years? In Iraq, in Afghanistan, tens of thousands of soldiers dead, at least that number wounded, trillions of dollars spent, and what the fuck good did we do in Afghanistan? The Taliban was running that bitch before we got there. They running that bitch today. What good did we do in Iraq? The average life for the Iraqi is no better because we were there. And you can say the same about every other country, Vietnam, Korea, all the shit we've been doing. All of this dirt we've been doing in the name of imperialists, right? Fighting against communism, right? They was cool using Russia to fight against the fascists in World War II. But after that, they really came back and started helping supporting fascists against communism. Look how they do in Cuba. So we've been knowing that the country has been full of shit for quite some time. But I'm gonna let Fox Fake News continue to talk.
As part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most large corporations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Republicans were, of course, a little bit interested in the clip, and even some Democrats, like Senator John Fetterman, joined in criticizing it. He wrote an act.
So, once again, if John Fetterman hates something, that's a good thing. Fetterman is a Republican. He's MAGA, period. He talks like MAGA. He's kissing Trump ass. The only time his weak ass put on a suit is when he was around Trump. So I do not care what racist white man have to say. I don't. And what we have to do is quit letting the right wing control the narrative. You damn right, abolish prisons. You damn right, abolish ICE. I take one further. Abolish the Department of Homeland Security. What the fuck have they done to protect America since 9/11? What the fuck have they done? What they have done is set up a spy network to watch everyday Americans, right? So you got cops out here using these flock cameras to stalk down their ex-girlfriends and watch them thousands of times. All of that shit is being abused. So if you can just get rid of agencies now with the stroke of a pen from the Supreme Court or from the executive branch, whoever gets in there as a Democrat need to do that. What I don't want is some fair weather ass Cory Booker, both sides in this shit being weak. The Democrats played their part in Trump getting back in power. His ass should have been locked up after January 6th, period. Everyone who plotted for January 6th should be in prison right now. And they're not in prison because people did not go far enough. Biden was weak on that. He had Garland. Garland was garbage. Garland should have been fired after the first month. When AG Garland refused to go after these people, and everybody tried to have his hands-off approach, and you left all of these Trumpers inside the government, they should have been fucking purged. Just like Trump purged everyone else who wasn't a Kool-Aid drinker. Like he purged the Vindmans after his first damn impeachment when he beat it. So this is the problem. They don't want to fight fascism. They don't want to take off the gloves and fight how they should be fighting. But I'll go ahead. I'm gonna give this Fox shit about another couple of minutes. You know, I don't really fuck with propaganda stations, and Fox News, like I said, is the biggest.
This isn't a big tent. It's anarchy. Why can't Dems call out the DSA? And let me stop you before you even go, because I know what you're going to say. Oh, but socialism is just, giving child care or something, or just fixing potholes or something. That is the leader of the Democratic Socialists of America, and she has said whenever Fox News gets someone who actually runs the DSA on camera to say what the actual policy goals are. And these aren't even the policy goals relating to, being on the side of terrorists or whatever. This is just domestic economic policies and political
Take that out of
structuring.
Your Nobody's on the side of terrorists. Stop.
Well, these people are, but this wasn't even about that, so we don't need to get into it. Okay, government ownership of the corporations, just government's going to run them all. We're going to abolish prisons, ICE, borders, amnesty for absolutely everyone. We're doing wholesale restructuring of our politics. So the Supreme Court, Senate, presidency, gone in their current manifestation. This is a deeply, deeply radical program to replace the United States with some other kind of country.
So if that's radical, then pardoning criminals who took a shit in the halls of Congress, that wasn't radical. Stealing $10 billion wasn't radical. That wasn't radical. Being on the Epstein list and not punishing anyone who's been doing all that dirt, that's not radical. Having the same people who marched with tiki torches down here in Charlottesville, North Carolina, or Charlottesville, Virginia, shouting, "Russia is our friend, the South will rise again, and Jews not replace us," saying that there were fine people on both sides, then let them come back as a potato front on July 4th and march with fucking Confederate flags in DC? That's not radical? Renaming military bases after the Confederacy is not radical? So I think it's time for us to understand what's happening. The mainstream media cannot be trusted, especially Fox News. It's propaganda. So they're cool with all the bullshit that they do. It's forever fuck the police. Tell me how police have saved black lives. I'll wait. Tell me how the police department has saved black lives. What police department in American history has protected black people? I'll fucking wait. We know they protected the Klan. We know they was with the Klan. We know they was with the Black Legion, the same people who assassinated Malcolm X's father. So we need the police like we need another toothache and another root canal. What has ICE done to help black people? What has ICE as an agency done to help improve our lives? They haven't. They are murderous kidnappers. And they don't even go after hardcore criminals. They arrest children. And why are teenage girls becoming pregnant in ICE custody? We've been knowing why they got human rights violations going on with ICE. ICE as an agency needs to be squad wiped. We don't need it. Everyone is inside the country, quote unquote, illegal. Give them a path to citizenship. Period. You pay your bills, you pay your extra fines for jumping the fence. Congratulations, you're an American citizen. Because guess what? These racist ass white people, they let people pay to become citizens. Well, all that shit that Trump is doing, he wants them South Africans over here. He let them come through without no background checks. So we've been knowing this whole immigration shit is about keeping America white. Fuck immigration. Fuck immigration. I do not give a damn about immigration. Agents, hey, you want to better save your tax dollars? Abolish ICE. Abolish the Department of Homeland Security. Abolish the CIA. I got a whole segment I'm going to do on the CIA. The CIA has never gotten intelligence right, not one time. From the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, from misjudging the Chinese response to the North Korea war, to operating in U.S. soil and becoming the biggest dope dealers of LSD in American history. How can that agency still survive? Having a contract to go out here and do whatever they want. Nixon said, hey, if it's secret, it doesn't matter what they do. It's all legal if it's secret. That lets you know how corrupt that fucking agency is. And to this day, they weaponize their secrecy to go out here and destabilize countries and attack other countries. We can spend that money focusing on our own business. Fuck the CIA. When the CIA can tell me how they did a case to help black people's lives better, then I'll be an advocate for the CIA. FBI needs to be totally revamped as well. Because what have they done? COINTELPRO? We're probably on our third iteration of COINTELPRO right now. Clearly, they ain't got no fucking standards. You got Kash Patel. You got drunk ass Kash Patel. Know what universe he's looking in right now. That shows you they have no standards. The FBI is a fucking joke. All of these federal agencies been to the will of whoever president at the time. And so whatever their core values are, they shift radically. There was never independent agencies. A fucking lie. That's a lie that white people tell themselves, that the agency was independent. It's never been independent. Look at all the shit they've done. They let 2 black men rot in prison for over 20 years for the assassination of Malcolm X. And they knew better. They knew they had the intel that it wasn't them, but they didn't want the secret program to be exposed. You want to save taxpayer money? Get rid of those agencies. Nobody coming to fight us. The enemies of America are white supremacists that's in America. I'm sorry, but the cat's out the bag on that shit. White racist men in this country are a bigger threat than me than the North Koreans, than damn Russia, China, or anyone else, especially black and brown countries. These fuckers here want us to bend this knee. They want us to strip us of our rights. They want us back in slavery. That's what they want. And that's how they moving. And I refuse to give an inch on any of this other bullshit. It's like every election season, these people come out here with that both sides shit. There ain't no both sides to concentration camps being built. There ain't no, you want to talk about a radical agenda? Why are we spending money on concentration camps? Because America is racist. They do not want Hispanic people having more kids than white people. That's why we're talking about immigration. That's why they all fired up talking about open borders. I don't give a fuck about an open border. The border's never been open. But if they do want to open it up, open that bitch up. Who gives a fuck? I'd rather be around immigrants than racist ass white people. I'd take 1 million immigrants over one Charlie Kirk. Shit. These people are full of shit. And it's time to call them out. It's time. You want to have a conversation? I'm here to have a conversation. We can have a nuanced conversation about the DSA. But we can't ever justify Fox News. Fox News as an agency is corrupt. They pay almost $800 million. After they called the election right, got scared because of Trump backlash and the MAGA backlash, then walked back and created every lie, repeated every lie that they said. They can't even tell you who won the 2020 election. That's how you know Fox News is full of shit. They don't want to deal in reality. And these people want to normalize. They want to normalize the fascism. Rights being stripped away. It's so bad in the country, I carry a flag. That's because, hey, carrying a fuck Trump flag is now considered brave and heroic. That's how far people are willing to let your rights be stripped. I have a constitutional right to say fuck Trump, fuck the Republican Party, and fuck Fox News. That is a constitutional right to say fuck the corrupt ass Supreme Court. And I'm gonna lean into that shit. That is my use, that is my free use of free will for the First Amendment. And as a soldier, I have an obligation to do though, to speak out. And so these guys are trying to tell you, they're trying to normalize the corruption. We have not seen this level of corruption in American history. We have not seen this type of authoritarian power grab in American history. So if you want to talk about something that's radical, there's nothing more radical than these far-right Christian nationalist demons running around here with Confederate flags and AR-15s and Bibles, telling us how they're about to colonize everything and they want to go out here and give awards to Confederate losers. That is the most radical thing facing us and facing the nation. And if you cannot speak on that, then I question you as a politician. If you cannot speak the facts about how racism and misogyny got us here, then I question everything about that. So the DSA, if they're scared of the DSA, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. They should be. My only question with DSA is what you gonna do for black liberation. Because the Democratic Party is not winning without the black vote. I can tell you that much now. And so we're done being played. All this racism and playing in our faces, that ship is sailed already. And so if you're not here to help defend black life, that's what I want to hear about. I want to hear about how you go hire back these black women. What are you going to do to hire back these black women you fired illegally? Are you going to compensate them for their time? Are you going to reimburse them for the lost time and work? They got reparations for everybody else. It's time to start paying for what you owe. So you can pay the black people you fired with back pay as a start. And we can work our way back from there. And if you wonder where you get the money from, don't worry. We'll take from the billionaires. We don't need them anyway. If you wonder where we get the money, don't worry. We're going to cut the damn military funding. We don't need no more wars. We can play defense for the next 10 years. Let Russia and China come to us. Right? They've been lying about that shit. Russia and China have no interest in ruling America. They're not sending nobody over here. That big red scare shit is played out. Slash military funding. Slash that shit. Cut that shit at least in half. Abolish ICE as an agency. Abolish the for-profit prison system. Period. Anything that's, a matter of fact, while we at it, legalize every fucking drug on earth. Legalize it. Be done with it. Quit letting the rich decide what to prosecute and what not to prosecute. That'll really, and then release everybody from prison who you locked up on that bullshit. And you won't need to have all these people in prison doing all this labor for you. That's all the prison is used for, is a labor force, to get sweat equity. They still out here like slave masters, especially in the southern states. This is why all that state level shit should be put there. There should be no more state policing in this country. The states cannot be trusted with their police force. They cannot be. What you need is some type of federalized force that is much smaller. Period. That's only there for dire situations. You can have an agency that maybe does like detective work and shit like that, but it cannot be left to these racist ass southern states. And while we're at it, abolish the electoral college. Since we're talking about abolish that too. That shit only helped the slave states. That's it. It should be strictly the popular vote. Strictly the popular vote. Quit letting these people play in your face and gerrymander and do all that dumb shit to try to hold on to power. They want to do every stinking trick in the book trying to hold on to power. The Supreme Court should be done away with as it is in its current form. It's openly corrupt. It's hopelessly corrupt, in my opinion. That shit should be everybody there. Thank you for your time. We're going to start over. It should be broken up into 13 districts. And those people should be voted. It should be, America should be broke down in 13 districts. And each chief justice should represent that district. Their votes and how they vote, public record, also who funding them. Anybody in public service, your personal finances should be open for the public. If you hold public office, your financial record should be open to the public. That way we know who's trying to play you. We've let billionaires do way too much dirt, guys, and that's why we're here. We let racist billionaires do way too much dirt. This is what Fox News do. Fox News should be discredited, period. It should never be played again. But Democrats are too fucking weak. When they get back in power, Fox News should be punished for the dirt they've done. Ban Fox News. Ban propaganda. Ban people who lie on the airwaves. Ban lying. You should not call yourself a news agency if you lie more than fucking 3 times in a month. That's what you need. But the problem is they've allowed this propaganda to go on and on. And so now we have to live on their version of reality. Fox News is built on lies. I eat my beret if you can show me one segment where they're not lying. Show me one Fox News segment in a 24-hour period where they're not lying. And I eat my beret. All these white people do is lie. They sit back here and lie. And they push propaganda. You know, these people still lying and saying that black fathers are not in the home. Charlie Kirk said all that. But it turns out we're more in the home than white people are. Because all they do is lie. Once the stats came out about how much we are involved in our children's lives, and I've always been a father for my kids, day one. Shit. I was never going to play that stereotype. But they rather keep the lie going instead of speaking the truth. These people is racist to the core. Racism is systemic in this country. There isn't anything you can do where it's not there. And that's why we have to call that shit out and fight back against them. It's really a shame, man, that America's always been racist, but now they got morons, corrupt morons running the country. That is why the American experiment is in danger of failing. Because Trump should have been nowhere near power. But the fact that he gained power and he's been able to stay in power and continue to abuse it with no limit lets you know how flawed the system is. Fuck the Supreme Court. They've had a good run. Abolish that shit. Redo it. In fact, every judge in America should have their shit looked at, especially judges in the South. These people, everything they tell you about justice being blind is a fucking lie. You don't believe me? How the hell you got black children out here getting 35 years for defending themselves? How you got people out there, so-called members of Antifa, getting a 100-year sentence, but motherfuckers who attacked us on January 6th, who was convicted of seditious conspiracy, did not get 100 years in prison? That lets you know that these judges are fucking corrupt too. Fire they ass too. There should be no more lifetime appointments any fucking where. You create corruption when you have people in there for life. When they get their ass in there comfortable, they can do what the fuck they want. No judge should be over here doing that shit for life. Your shit should be under constant scrutiny. That you go uphold the letter of the law. But in the South, they do all type of diabolical shit. So if you want to talk about something being radical, that is what we're talking about. That's radical shit that's happening. We must come after the corrupt. If you really want change in this country, purge the corrupt. I don't give a fuck what they call themselves. Democrat, Republican, look at their actions. Look at their actions and see how corrupt they are. Prime example. Look at Eric Adams, right? He was a Republican, turned flipped to Democrat, but stayed a Republican. Look at the corruption that was in his damn organization in New York.
Mandami, who I call Scandami, he has no place.
Now this is Frank Carroll. This is Eric Adams' chief of staff.
In New York City politics.
He got indicted on bribery, wire fraud, and money laundering. Ingrid, chief of staff, 8 bribery counts, money laundering charges. Eric Adams appointed sheriff, investigated after he had $100,000 in cash in his office. Motherfucking corruption. His fire deputy, his deputy fire chief, 20 months in prison for accepting bribes so that he can fast track investigate or fast track safety investigations. So basically, no matter how bad the building was, he got paid off for the money, literally putting people's lives in danger. Open fucking corruption. Eric Adams, New York police chief, accused of demanding sex exchange in exchange for overtime pay. He got raided by the feds in a bribery investigation. Right? So it wasn't just Eric Adams. We know he was openly corrupt. His whole team around him was corrupt. His community liaison pled out, took a plea deal, 3 years probation, conspiracy to commit fraud. I tell you, go after the corrupt, no matter what side of the aisle they are. His building chief, Eric Adams building chief, indicted on 16 counts of bribery, conspiracy, and filing false financial information. His fire chief, 3 years in prison, receiving bribes to fast-track fire inspections. You see how the corruption moves, guys? It does not matter what side of the aisle is. When you let people get corrupt as fuck. Right? That's what happens when you get paid off. When you let them people pay you off and they dirty you up, it just continues to snowball. Hey, his real estate chief, Jesse Hamilton, got indicted for felony conspiracy. The pension fund, all them people, man, got hit up. All of them. This is wholesale corruption. Listen, girl showed up. She showed up, man. She handed a potato chip bag full of cash to a journalist. Then disappeared from public life. Open corruption, man. And if you think it was bad under Adams, this is why they love Mandani so much. Look how Mandani came in here and cleaned that shit up. It's far worse under Trump at the federal level. It is far worse under Trump. And don't forget Adams himself. I got all of his fucking indictments here. Bribery, fraud, illegal campaign contributions. Listen, he was taking bribes from other countries. That's how dirty Eric Adams was. And what happened? Trump dismissed it, right? His corrupt ass DOJ dismissed it as long as he let ICE do his shit, do his dirt in fucking New York. That's why they couldn't get shit done, because they were dirty. So Mandani really is America's mayor. Say what you want about Mandani, he's the truth. I like him. I think we need a lot more of him. He's knowledgeable on Black liberation issues. He's a good dude with boots on the ground, and he's above the corruption. And that's what you need. You need somebody who's going to be anti-corrupt, guys. Listen, since that fucker got out, since dirty ass Eric Adams, it's not like these guys stopped criming, right? Just because you beat charges, you would think somebody say, once they beat charges, they say, hey, well, shit, I almost got caught, right? So I'm a straightened up now. No, they keep doing more dirt. He launched a fucking cryptocurrency scam called Fighting Anti-Semitism. Eric Adams, man. Listen, this shit crashed within hours after they launched it. They had an anonymous account. He cashed out $2.5 million. Now we already know who that anonymous account belonged to. So they keep stealing. If you let criminals go, they go keep criming. Eric Adams belonged under the prison. But he got a sweetheart deal because you let a criminal back in power. I don't want to hear shit about Antifa, BLM, the DSA. I don't want to hear none of that shit. If you're not talking about the open corruption that's happening in this country right now, then you're full of shit. Miss me with that. Because there's no way that these people, all this stuff, Fox News can't talk about none of this corruption because they're corrupt too. Out here with a thing on his head, man. Like he over there hanging out. He over there, man. He over there hanging out, buck dancing with him. Same as Van Jones. Van Jones out here buck dancing for Israel too. So no one should be surprised, man, that the corruption is that deep, because Netanyahu is also like Trump, openly corrupt, war criminal, commits genocide on the daily. IDF should be abolished. But we cannot do that directly. Therefore, we got to fight here. We got to fight here to break ties with them. Listen, Mandani got rid of the legacy. He purged all the loyalists, right? He stopped all that shit. That's how you fight. You root out all the loyalists from the other previous administration. You got to get them out of there. If you really want to make things better, you must get the corrupt out.
It is only by fostering a culture of competence, transparency, and honesty that we can restore a diminished faith in our democracy. There will be zero tolerance for self-enrichment or corruption in my city hall.
Straight up. Listen, I like the guy. I think he's probably one of our most exciting mayors right now. I think we need a lot more of that. We need people. You have to be anti-corrupt. Period. That should be your basis. Because as long as you have corrupt people in here beating the system, this is why they hit you with the red tape while they line their pockets. Now, since we talk about Mandani, I'm going to let you hear another clip from him.
Some Jewish groups have noted that in your video, you didn't include a reference to October 7th or Hamas leaders who carried out that attack. And it's not easy always to pin you down on this subject, forgive me, but because there aren't many perfect analogies to draw. For instance, not all world leaders or alleged war criminals have ICC warrants, or they're not planning to come to the UN General Assembly, or perhaps they're dead. So my question is that, would you, if circumstances were different, would you have vowed to arrest the leaders of Hamas who perpetrated the October 7th attack if they were visiting New York? And if so, why not include something about that?
You hear the question, right? You hear the question, how she totally let Netanyahu off the hook. Like we didn't watch the IDF murder tens of thousands of people. See, it's that, but it's the way that he responds to that little gotcha question that is amazing about him. It shows you his skills as a politician.
To show New Yorkers that, you know, you're presenting a more balanced approach. Why not include that in your video?
Didn't the ICC put forward a warrant for Yahya Sinwar?
I mean, I know he's dead. Yeah.
Yes, but my point is that they did, and in the video I made very clear, as I have before, that my interest in executing that warrant is not specific to Benjamin Netanyahu, but to anyone who they put a warrant towards for war crimes and crimes against humanity. And part of that is a reflection of a universal politics. And it is from a universal politics that I can look in October 7th and describe it for what it is, which is a horrific war crime. And I can also look at Benjamin Netanyahu and see the way that he has orchestrated this genocide and also deem him to similarly be a war criminal. And I think especially at a time when there are those in Washington who are discussing measures to take apart the International Criminal Court, what so many are looking for is a sense that there is in fact a rule of law across the world where there are crimes that are so grave that they offend all of humanity. And I believe that we should hold those who perpetrate them accountable, no matter who they are or where they're from. And when it comes to the ICC, they've put forward warrants, whether it's Yahya Sinwar, Benjamin Netanyahu, I think a few other members of the Israeli government. I believe that all of them should be.
I think that, like I said, you cannot find a better response than that. And that should be the standard. Yeah, that's my mayor too, man. I'm in Virginia. He's the blueprint, guys. And I don't care what they say. If the man ever wants to run for president, they should back him. Change the law. Change the law and let him become one. Because you allow a criminal to become president. So clearly that shit don't matter. Right? The rules do not matter. You let a man who committed insurrection in violation of the Constitution, you let him become president. You let a man convicted of 34 felonies become president. So clearly they don't give a fuck about the rule of law. That's why we're here. And so we need people with a strong sense of justice, especially in the Democratic Party, because it's few and far between. There's nothing wrong with the Democratic Socialists of America, as long as they come in with that energy there. That's what we vet people properly, and purge the corrupt. Purge the corrupt. That's what you got to do, guys. That's how you got to move ahead and get things going. Look, guys, I jumped on earlier because I have to take off. I'm gonna go watch some Spider-Man with my family and enjoy ourselves a bit. I suggest everyone do the same. It's going to be some trying times these next couple of months. Get out here. This is the last call for democracy. If you ever believe in this American experiment, good, bad, or ugly, get your ass out there and vote. And make sure everybody and their daddy is voting. Because this is probably going to be your last chance at it. All right, if you ever, and listen, there's no guarantee that we're not going to have to fight for it. So be prepared to fight. But voting is your best weapon. It should be your primary weapon. We got to vote out the corrupt and vote in the change you want to see. And remember, whether it takes 7 months or 10 years. Hey, before I sign off though, guys, I'm going to try to go 5 nights a week, Monday through Friday. I'm going to try to do from 8 to 9 o'clock, guys, at least an hour. I'm going to try to do that throughout the weekdays. I'm going to jump up my schedule because a lot's going on, guys. So I'm going to be here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, unless I'm in the field. Just let you guys know about that change. I'm going to really try to maximize this platform. Hopefully get some speakers in here. We start talking about what's happening. But we really have to be activated and fighting back. We have to organize. We have to get people out here voting. We have to educate people on what's happening. Since we cannot trust the mainstream media anymore, we have to be that voice of reason now. We have to be out here and really be up in the fight. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Yes, you can hit likes. And guys, I forgot to post my other stuff on here with all my other information. You know, you can hit me up on my Cash App. It's out there. Remember, I have to get funds directly. I don't have any sponsors. I'm not getting paid for any of this, guys. I'm just doing it because I believe in it. All right. With that, whether it takes 10 months or 10 years, we must be absolutely relentless in our fight against the white delusion of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm. 1713. On the ship Henrietta Marie, chained Africans crossed the Atlantic with no room to stand. Many died before land appeared. Their bodies were thrown into the ocean behind the ship. The ocean saw.
Listen to this closely.
This happened to your bloodline.
This was planned for profit.
Your ancestors still survived it.
The water remembers your ancestors' names. Millions crossed the Atlantic in chains. Many never touched land alive. You are here because they refuse to die quietly.
Yeah. From the 1500s to the 1800s, European ships crossed West Africa, Portugal, Britain, Spain, France, and the Netherlands built this trade. They bought and kidnapped African people for labor in the Americas. Historians estimate that 10 to 12 million Africans survived the crossing. Millions more died before reaching shore. People were taken from Angola, Senegal, Ghana, Nigeria, and Congo. Many were marched hundreds of miles to slave ports and chains. At ports like Elm in the Castle and Bonnie, families were separated forever. The crossing became known as the Middle Passage. Ships packed human beings below deck like cargo. Some ships held more than 400 people at once. The British ship Brooks became famous for how tightly people were packed. Men, women, and children were chained together for weeks or months. Many could not sit upright. Disease spread fast in the heat below deck. Dysentery, fever, dehydration, and starvation killed thousands. Women were sexually abused by crew members during the voyage. Some captive jumped into the ocean rather than live in slavery in 1781. The crew of the slave ship zoned through more than 130 Africans into the sea for insurance money. The owners went to court demanding payment for the murdered people. Olaudah Equiana wrote about the smell of the chains and the screaming in his 1789 book. Your ancestors lived through organized torture, created for money.
Do not look away from this history.
They counted black bodies as cargo.
But your ancestors kept fighting. The water remembers your ancestors' names. Millions crossed the Atlantic in chains. Many never touched land alive. You are here because they refuse to die quietly.
Yeah. The Middle Passage helped build the economies of Europe and America. Sugar plantations in the Caribbean depended on enslaved labor. Cotton plantations in the American South depended on enslaved labor. Banks, shipping companies, and insurance firms made fortunes from slavery. Cities like Liverpool and Bristol grew rich from slave voyages in the United States. Slavery expanded after the invention of the cotton gin in 1793. By 1860, nearly 4 million enslaved black people lived in America. Congress banned the importation of enslaved Africans in 1808. But slavery continued inside the country. Children were still sold away from parents at auctions. Black families were still whipped, branded, and controlled by force.